Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are located. My name is Albert Paredes. I'm a member of the Global Chamber for Latin America, Costa Rica, the Costa Rica chapter, but I'm also part of the regional desk for Latin America. So it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I'm also the owner of Softwarecraft, a software company, nearshore outsourcing out of Costa Rica and Latin America, and wanted to thank everybody for being here today. We're going to talk about a very interesting topic. A couple of months ago, we talked about blockchain and Bitcoin and mining, and after that session, everybody wanted to know more about cryptocurrencies and digital assets, etc. So why not start or the next topic on this subject to be on NFTs, right? And a lot of people and the title of this event is Demystifying NFTs, because maybe some of you know about it, maybe all of you know about it, but it's still a topic that has a lot of questions. And what is an NFT? And even the name, right? Non-fungible token. What the hell is that? And so we're very lucky to have Miguel Arias here. Miguel is gonna go over and talk about what these rare creatures are, right? NFTs are is the hype word right now in a lot of places, right? In the US and Europe as well. And we're gonna learn about what an NFT is, and how we can actually get into it, right? Demystifying things is usually getting to know what it is. I do have to give um, not a warning, but something that I have to say is that we're not giving any type of financial advice, right? So that's very important. And if you have somebody giving you financial advice that doesn't have a license to do that, then you got to question, their motive. So in the just to be clear, we're not giving here any type of advice on trading these things that are called NFTs. We're here just to learn about what an NFT is, and then so that we get to know it. There are obviously business opportunities with it. There are people that are creating things, digital assets that they can register on a blockchain, and Miguel is going to explain all these things, and that could result in very significant, or a different avenue for you to make money, depending on what your business are or your interest, right? So it is very popular right now, especially among artists, to create digital images and register them on the blockchain. But anyways, I'm not gonna give away anything else. I'm gonna leave the floor to Miguel. Miguel, if you can introduce yourself, and then we can start with your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Albert. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation, and nice to meet everybody. So I'm going to give you a brief presentation about NFTs. I'm the founder of a company called Profixa, and we have been working with 3D visualization for several years now. And we started approaching the NFTs because somebody asked about that. So started to learn a little more. And it was an interesting place that we discovered. So I'm going to share a little about what we are doing, but also the perspective from not for trading, but more like a collector's point of view. I'm not a collector, but I think it's easier. Yes, it's easier to understand what's the real potential if you see it from a collector's point of view. And I'm going to say a little more. If you already had a presentation about crypto coins and trading and all that, you're going to see how is the connection with this, and how it could be or not something to invest or not. Because I think I think the main message from this talk is about, if you want to buy art, not necessarily NFTs, how are you going to approach that? So I had a presentation about this, and I'm going to share some examples too. Let me know if you can see it. Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see it. It's a little small, but we can see it.
Okay. Okay. So, well, NFTs is some kind of new asset, and it's as is mentioned. There's another interesting article on Harvard Business Review magazine last year about this one. If somebody's interested, I can send you a copy at the end of the presentation. And it's a novel asset class. So that's something that people, there's skeptical, there are excitement, there's a lot of hype, but there's also something that we're not sure if there's going to change things or not. But fundamentally, it's like giving digital assets a way to have value on the internet, because right now internet is something, it's like a medium where we have almost free copies of a lot of things, digital assets, images, music. So with NFTs, we can come back to the way that we have limited supply of or something, and a proof of ownership of that. So as a quick introduction of how we arrived there, yes, we are 3D virtual reality visualization company. So we started working with the artists 2-3 years ago, scanning their artwork, in particular sculptures, and creating the digital versions for the metaverse before everybody was talking about the metaverse. And because when you have something in 3D, you can do a lot of things. And then somebody asked about NFTs, and we started to explore that, and we discovered that it's a whole world that is exploding right now. And not necessarily everything that you see as NFT has long-term value. But there are things like art that has some intrinsic value, like all kind of fine art that it's out there. So we can approach NFTs from that perspective, well, at least for art right now. So if you see it from the broader perspective, the NFT is only like a kind of certificate of ownership of a digital asset. So you can certify who created the NFT and who owns it. So who goes through, if you sell it and somebody buy it and it goes hand by hand, you can see a trace of where it has gone through all that way. And it's very popular for digital assets right now, for images, for videos, for 3D files. But probably it's going to be also very interesting for other kind of assets, like well, digital twins, like simulation files and things like that. Already has a very intrinsic value in the industry. And it's a building block for the metaverse. So everybody's talking about the metaverse, but at the end, the metaverse is like an extension of the internet, but holding things in 3D space. So if there's a way to have unique ownership of 3D things in the metaverse, like you have in your house, you have a car, you have a sofa and things like that, you could have something similar for the metaverse. So right now there's not like a standard, but somehow the NFTs are becoming that standard to have that ownership. After that, we have to see how to connect that to that world. And the NFTs are connected to the blockchain, and they have a value with a crypto coin. So generally speaking, the crypto coin that is being used is Ethereum, but there are other that I'm going to mention a little later. So since we're not going to give a financial advice, so I'm just going to contrast what is collecting art versus investing. So you can see NFTs, having an NFT from an art piece, like a limited edition or a single edition of a piece of art, similar to engravings or photographs that the artist create only one piece or maybe an edition of 10, and the artist sell it and somebody buy it. And if with time it takes value, you could resell it or have your collection and donate it to a museum or whatever. So it's the same thing with NFTs. So from a perspective of art collectors, could be also an investment medium, but it's tricky because you don't know if the artist is going to become very famous with time. So it's better to see it more like I want to buy art because I like it, because it's for self-enjoyment, because I want to have a collection, or because I want to display it at my house. And at the end, art is something that you connect with that or not. That's where you define if you want to pay the price for that piece of art. So buying art is very similar to buying maybe music. You like the music, but maybe music after a year you don't hear it like the same way, and you buy another music. And with art, it's something that you're going to have in your house and your home, and it's something that complements your space or that tells you something in an intimate way to you. So that's the way I advise to look at also with NFTs. Some of them are taking value, probably a hype also, and so nobody can secure that it's going to continue having value. But something that is certain is if it's created by a known artist, that's going to take a value with time. So there are 2 points of view. It's interesting for artists because it's a new channel for selling or collecting art. It's interesting for digital artists because they were not like that recognized in the art world like traditional artists like painters or sculptors. One of the first NFTs sold was an artist called Beeple that was sold by Christie for more than $70 million. So that created a whole wave of taking a look again to digital artists, because some of them they are, let's say, real artists in the sense that they have the same approach to creating their art like a sculptor or a painting or a musician. And this uniqueness about having a limited edition of the NFT creates this scarcity that gives value, because if there are a few copies of it and you want to say you are the owner, then that creates the offer and demand law that creates gives value to that piece. And something that is very interesting for the artist is that the artist participates on the secondary market. That means if you sell for a painter, if the painter sells the work through a gallery, he earns money. But if the collectors resell it later, the painter doesn't have any earnings on that. It's not like music that could have royalties. Well, with the NFT world, the artists continue to receive 10% of the secondary sales and so on. So if something is created and resold a lot of times in the future, the artist is going to touch those kind of royalties. And since it's connected to the blockchain, that's like automatic. It's not going through like the traditional ways of asking for royalties.
Miguel, just a quick interesting fact. I
Yes.
know of some artists that actually create the original piece, like in the physical world. Then they create the NFTs, and then they get rid of the original work. So they actually get rid of the painting and in favor of the NFT. So that's pretty interesting. Thank you. Continue, please. Thanks.
Yes, yeah, that's a good point. And there's some big combination that there are people that are attaching the NFT to the real piece only like a proof of authenticity, and others like you mentioned, they destroy it to make it unique on the virtual world. And on the crypto side, I think there's a lot of, well, the value of crypto coins is more about the speculation, because it has been hard to use them for trading physical objects. And this is something that I see personally that on the long term is going to stabilize the value, because we're giving value to something that is more concrete. It's not about just how many people think what should be the price of Bitcoin today. It's more about saying, well, this should be priced. And at the end, it's the same kind of subjective pricing of art. So probably that's going to stay. So I'm going just to list some key concepts that, well, I think those in this first one are you are already familiar. So the blockchain is a distributed encrypted database where all the crypto coins are living, and or the transactions are recorded. And each crypto coin has its own blockchain. So the most popular is obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all blockchains can support NFTs, but there are only some few that are actually being used widely for the NFTs. So the one is the Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin, and I think there are other Polygon and others that we're going to see an example later. And well, NFT means non-fungible token. So that means that it's a unique digital asset attached to the blockchain. and could be any digital asset, could be an image, a short video, audio file, etc. In contrary, a fungible token is something that we can interchange between each other. A fungible token is actually the crypto coins, because it's the same thing, one Bitcoin here, then other Bitcoin over there. It's like this, we can exchange $1 for another, and it's the same thing for us. So those are the fungible tokens in the crypto world. And the non-fungible token is the unique thing that we are creating on the blockchain. Also, maybe you have heard about the smart contracts. So it's actually just a piece of code that creates the rules to split the NFT sales and do other stuff with the NFT. So the smart contract is where it's written in code if the asset, if the NFT is sold, how much is going to go to the artist, how much to the gallery, how much to the platform, etc. And if you want to enter to the NFT world, these are the additional concepts that you have to understand, what to see. It's the wallet. If you have crypto coins, you have also a wallet. So there are certain wallets that also hold NFTs. One of those is MetaMask, or Coinbase also have their wallet with NFT support. So there we can see how many crypto money we have and what are our NFTs. And then there are the NFT marketplaces. This is basically a place where we can buy and sell NFTs. This is some kind of eBay for NFTs. So one of the most popular is OpenSea, but there are plenty of those. But OpenSea is the one that is the most popular right now. And maybe you are going to see the term minting. Minting is the process to create an NFT. It's actually how you write on the blockchain image to create the NFT. So we have time, we can do a quick example at the end. And also you're going to hear a lot the term of drop or dropping an NFT. So it's actually just a public release of a new NFT. So a gallery or a platform, they can say, at the end of the month, we're going to drop the new NFT from this artist. And some of them are going to reveal how this is going to look like. Others are going to hide it until the end of that period. It's just to marketing tactics to bring people and to see what's going to be released and to have many people bidding for buying that NFT. Many platforms use auction methods to sell the first release of an NFT that could be affordable at that moment. And if the artist or the trend is going to make it take value, they have to buy it at the beginning, similar like in a real auction. So I'm going to give you some examples of NFTs that we have worked with, let's say, real artists, because you're going to see on the OpenSea, for example, it's all kind of stuff over there. And anybody can create an NFT, but creating an NFT doesn't mean that it's going to have value just like that. So I'm going to show you some, well, three kind of things that we have done. One with 2D images, one that is called generative art, that probably if you have heard about the crypto apes, is that kind of art. And then the 3D NFTs that are the basis of the metaverse, that they're not much right now, but I think that is going to be the next wave, probably in a year or two. So the first example is this artist, Frank Francetta. He's already, he passed away in the 90s. So he was an illustrator. And the foundation that holds his collection, it's a museum. I think it's in New Jersey or somewhere on the East Coast. And they commissioned us to take several of their illustrations and have the NFTs versions for them. So the NFTs are actually short videos that you are going to see, you're seeing here, where we added some animation that was requested by the foundation, the person who's controlling the heritage of this artist. And I think this edition was sold globally like in $500,000. Each one is, for example, this one is interesting because it's the Dead Dealer. It's one of Fracetta's paintings in the 70s. And it was, maybe you don't have the audio that I have, but it's some ambience audio. And it was George Lucas that inspired himself for the character of Darth Vader from this image in the 70s. So those are available through a marketplace called Maker's Place. And if you want to buy one of those, you can bid directly on those. The other artist that I'm going to show you an example is this artist. Is from New Jersey. He's building sculptures, all sizes. He sent us the CAD models used for printing, for 3D printing, and we created something is called a generative collection. So it's with algorithms, we created variations within accessories of the character, and with different backgrounds and environments, glasses, accessories, clothes, and things like that. So you can see it here. Those are on OpenSea. So the artist created he did the meeting with his team, and there are 4,560 different characters over there. So some of them are more rare than others. Some are nicer, or maybe some of them could talk to you more, like if you like yoga, if you like certain kind of style, glasses or whatever, you could buy one of those. All these variations took around 2 months of creating all the assets, the accessories, and combining them algorithmically. It took also time to create the algorithms, because it's like when you put your clothes, not everything fits. You just do the combination like that. There are certain colors that works better than others, and that's it. And it took like 3.5 days just to render the images, because those are rendered with a photorealistic rendering. So that's the second example that I wanted to show you. And the third example is from this is one of the, well, it was named one of the 10 best sculptors like 10 years ago. It's a French artist, Carl Lagasse. So he started to create art with a $1, with a dollar. So that dollar in bronze is like this, like 2 feet tall. The physical piece is unique, and it's in a gallery in Dubai, and it's on sale for around $1 million. So we created a scan of the piece, and let me show. So I think we have this one called, my computer is a little slow, but you're going to see it. So this is the actual 3D version of the sculpture. And once you have the sculpture in 3D, you can do a lot of things. So we did something similar. I think it's on here to the other artist. Well, we have, well, we're going to see on the gallery of the artist. Just close this. So this artist wants to go further with this. He wants to have a whole 3D gallery showing only NFTs. And if somebody wants to buy it, they go to OpenSea through one of the links here. If not, at the end, I can show you also some examples. I can send you the links so you can see it on your computer. So as you can see, the videos created from the 3D dollar in a different environments. Some of those were sold in one of the NFT marketplaces, and there are others that are going to be dropped soon, probably at the end of the summer. And this environment can be also be visited with the glasses, with the Oculus glasses. We created one avatar that is explaining to the people, that is welcoming people when they enter there. So probably here on some you are going to see it very slow, and I can send you the link or the presentation at the end. So there are around 10 10 NFTs here. He also exposed one of the NFTs, the last that I'm going to show, on one of the billboards in Times Square. So that one is a unique piece that is on sale right now. So some of the others are like visions of 3 or 10, that depends on which one you choose. So here in the middle, you can see the dollar on the cyberspace city. Okay, well, I'm going to close it because everything is slow on my computer. And those are the examples that we are working right now. There are other possibilities, because once you have, as I mentioned, you have the 3D of something, you can create a lot of things. For example, with this artist, we are just working right now on her concept. It's a Mexican artist, a sculptor, and with her we have the 3D pieces, but we are still deciding how we're going to create the NFTs. So that's one of the sculptors. And for example, with this other artist, she only draws the 2D images, and we created the 3D version of this drawing. So those are the kind of things that can be done as NFTs. Well, then, so if you want to explore what exists outside, there's this list of, well, there are now probably hundreds of platforms to see or to sell NFTs. There are some artists that create that directly on their web pages, but most of them are connected to the main platforms. So OpenSea is one of the main platforms. It's a kind of eBay for NFTs. So that's the place where you can start exploring what is over there. Foundation is a kind of Instagram for NFTs. So if you like photography or 2D art, you're going to find a lot of things over there, and the prices over there are affordable. These platforms, Edition Art, is not really NFT. They are from United Kingdom, but it's very interesting because they have a closed platform to create, to buy and resell the digital editions of curated artists that they have. Oh, sorry. The one I showed you is Maker's Place. Maker's Place, it's very interesting for art, because this is really, they choose people that are artists. So it's not anybody, it's not for everybody. You have to go through a process to enter. And you can have photography, 3D art, illustration, animation, and it's all kind of stuff that you can find over there. The other that is interesting is Super Rare. That is also for art. So they have their own magazine, internal magazine. And you can find here all kind of weird stuff. So similar to what you will see in a contemporary art gallery. So for somebody could say that is not art, for others could find it very interesting. So that's similar to the art. But all of these are NFTs, and these are unique pieces. And there are others like La Collection. It's a platform only for museums. So they just released a series of NFTs from one French museum and recently from another from Boston. So if you like more classic art that you find in museums from 19th century, you can find things on that one. But well, if you want to experiment with NFTs, you can create your own. So I'm going to just show you quickly how to do it. So you need to have a wallet. MetaMask is the most used, so you can have one of those. You have to go to OpenSea and connect your MetaMask, and then you can create and mint an NFT. So let's go. So this is OpenSea. This is my wallet. I want to see the millions I have. Well, this morning it was $75. Now it's $81 because of the price of the Ether. And here I have some things that I have bought, others that I have just created to test, because when we release the NFTs for our clients, we need to test them somewhere. So for example, this is, let's say, part of my collection. This one artist, I think it's from Korea. It's called Soy Milk. So it was, I found it beautiful, like, because it's like an illustration, but it has this 3D animation that creates another dimension to the work. So here I can go to my profile. So my profile, generally you can put just a pseudonym or a name, and there you have your wallet address that is connected to OpenSea. OpenSea is only like a window to the blockchain, and you can see what are things are connected over there, even if you are not working with OpenSea. So you can see all the NFTs that exist in the world on OpenSea. And if you want to create, there is already a button create. So here, I'm going just to take a picture I have here on my desktop. A picture of my hometown. You can put a landing page if you have something, if you have a special page to talk about the work of art. Test of photograph. And I can put it on in our collection. And if you want to include other files, because here the files that are supported are JPEG, PNG, MP4, so it's images, videos, music, and 3D files up to 100 megabytes. But you could connect, you could deliver or connect other files to the NFT here with something that is called unlockable content. So the owner of the NFT can see those files hosted somewhere else. Here you can choose which blockchain is going to be created the NFT. So Ethereum is the most popular, but also it's a little expensive. There's Polygon, Clayton, and Solana. Solana is becoming more popular right now. So we're going to leave just Ethereum. And we just create, the robot. And creating the NFT doesn't have a cost on OpenSea. But if you want to sell it or transfer it, then there's a commission that you pay to OpenSea. That is not too much, but since it's in Ether, that depends on the price and certain time of the day. So if we connect it here, you can see the actual NFT is created. So this is what you are going to see from the outside if you're right over there. And here on the bottom, you say it was minted 28 seconds ago, and it belongs to me. So if I sell it, I can put a price here. let's say I want to have I can have like an auction, or I can have a fixed price. So let's say put a 1 Ether. So if it's sold, OpenSea is going to take 2.5% of the sale of that 1 Ether. Or let's put 0.1. 150. I can say that it's going to stay for a month. And I complete the listing. So right now it's going to be, well, it's going to ask me for approval from my MetaMask, because the wallet is like the authentication method now. So instead of creating your account with your email and password and all that, you're going to create it now with your wallet. And it's done. So that's easy. So if somebody wants to buy it, to test it, you can do it. So, so that's the main presentation. So if you have any question, or if I can send you the links later, here's my contact information, and let's leave it open for questions or comments. I will be happy to try to answer what I can. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. I think it was very eye-opening, at least for me, and I'm sure for anybody else. It would be awesome if we can distribute your presentation so we have all the links. And but I think you know, it was awesome. I'm going to turn it to people that have questions now regarding the NFTs in general. I know it was kind of there's a lot of things that went on the presentation, but hopefully it made it a little more clear. But if you have any questions, now's the time. You can post them on the chat, or you can actually speak up if you would like to speak and ask your questions in the video here in the presentation.
I have a question. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the information, Miguel. It gives a whole new meaning to what's in your wallet. What's in your wallet. So a couple of things. I get that creating it through blockchain is a way to authenticate it, but it's not a way to guarantee quality. Like you could upload any JPEG on there, whatever. So, I mean, if I bought the Mona Lisa from whichever museum was selling it, I go home, I hang it on my wall. If I buy a recording of something, I go home and I play it however I play it. Let's say it's an old LP, I put it on my record player. So how does somebody actually enjoy, like you buy a digital image, if you do you have to buy a big screen and hang it on your wall to have it on there? I mean, at some point it has to get printed. How are you going to see it? You spend all this money supposedly on something that's of value to you. How then do you enjoy it?
Yes, there are several ways, because, well, at the end, you have it in your wallet. You can see it here, but it's not very small. And it's a good point, because you want to enjoy that art. So there are several platforms to do that. There's some called, I forgot it. I'm going to complement on the presentation, but they sell like frames that you can display only the NFTs on your wallet. So it's like a digital frame, but it has museum quality, the pixel size and the glare of the glass and all that to display those. In the case of, for example, this platform's edition art is connected to the Apple TV, so you can have it on your big screen at home.
Okay.
And there are companies developing very expensive displays, like $20,000 or more, like big screens that are intended for museums.
Okay, great. And then the other question real quick is, if I own something that is a unique piece of art or whatever, let's say I buy the Mona Lisa, there's only one Mona Lisa, I own it now. Do I then have the right to have an NFT made of it?
No, that's the right is more for the artist. That's why these platforms like MakerSpace and SuperArt wants to be sure that the artist is the creator of the piece. And then that depends on how how the artist wants to release the rights to the buyer, because the buyer could be only the owner of the piece, but doesn't have the rights to reproduce it.
So is that being added now? Like if you buy a piece of artwork somewhere, is that, let's say it's a place like Christie's that, controls it. Do they make it clear now when you buy a piece of art that you don't have the right to make an NFT?
Yes, if you go to one of those formal places, they're going to say you if you have the right or not. Certain NFTs that grant you the right to do whatever you want, like these the crypto apes that are very famous. They give you the right, and there are people who has done restaurants with the logos of the NFTs they have bought from them. But others are it's just like you own it, but you don't have the right to do that. So you have to ask the creator of the art.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I think Yuka, you have a question, and then we'll move to Maimoun Mustafa.
Yeah. Can you? I can add to the answer you gave right now, because I'm working with architects in this Web3 and metaverse space right now. So one of the use case of this art is to put on your metaverse house. People can buy land and ask an architect to design your home or your space, and then buy these pieces and put it there. This is what I was told, and the good thing about this is that you can let it. When you let it, the contract is over, it's going to just come back or something like that. So that's something I wanted. I don't believe you mentioned this kind of use case of art piece. So I just wanted to add, and I just wanted to ask you about other use cases than art pieces.
Yes, well, the most obvious is that one, that you could create your house in the metaverse and put the furniture and things like the same thing you will do with a luxury rental house, that you can put pieces of art over there to make it more valuable, and you can rent it. Yes, you could also do like the museums that they rent their collections for the exhibits. And well, for art is like the obvious part is like for somebody own it and display it on their private space.
Yeah, and I'm asking other than that art pieces, NFT use case that you're aware of?
Sure. There's going to be a big adoption from enterprise for NFTs, not for art. Because you can do the same thing. You could create an NFT of digital twin, like a copy of something physical real, but could be something more like industrial equipment. And it's not necessarily like a visual copy of that. It could be a whole simulation, a whole physical model of something that you want to create separately, like I don't know, like a reactor or like a motor, or something like that.
So Yuka, besides anything that's a digital asset, anything that's digital, you can actually create or make it an NFT. So it could be music, it could be a video that you have that you took maybe of I don't know, of whatever thing you videotape. You can turn anything that's digital into an NFT. And if there's interest, then and you're in the market for selling it, then you can do that as well. So anything that's digital, it's a point. It could be art, but it could be anything. I mean, initially, I think LeBron James sold like a 10-second video of him dunking the basketball. That was like at the beginning, like a few years ago. But it could be anything that's a digital asset that can be registered into a blockchain, which is like Ethereum. So
okay.
Okay,
Thank
excellent.
you. That's that's the answer I was looking for. Thank you.
And then Maimoun, you have a question or comments?
Thanks, Albert. Hi, Miguel. This is Maimoun from Global Chamber Dhaka. Thank you for a very refreshing and informative section and presentation on the topic. I had a question regarding store of value. So in instances like if we can actually transfer the NFT, or let's say it's in a marketplace and we have that smart contract that says A gives to B, B has the license to give it to somebody else. We know that it is non-fungible, but it has to be traded maybe in cryptocurrency, which in itself is fungible. But the valuation of cryptocurrency changes, and we've seen that from spike really high and then go really low. Like, what is the exact mechanism, if you have an idea for this, or like what are the strategies that are being taken to kind of in a way like negate the high spirals and lows?
Yes, well, that's the part that is complex right now, because you cannot once you create the NFT and you put a price, you cannot put the price higher. At least you are buying, you can resell it higher. So you decide, if you bought something, you can decide how much you are going to sell it. But if the picture I put earlier, I cannot raise the value. So that's tricky right now. That's why it's connected to the blockchain that has a lot of value changes on the cryptocurrency is changing a lot. So for example, one of the dollar bills. So at the end, we decided, let's price it at 150 Ether, because that's going to be like probably $1 million. That was the decision of the artist. And right now probably is like $200,000. So it's selling much lower to what he was expecting. But at the end, it's like the price of other fiat currency. If you want to have that as Ether, that's what you are asking for selling that stuff. At the end, that collectively is going to stabilize the price, but right now you cannot guarantee that. The other way is that
you can just get an idea on that. It's like, so there is no marketplace for the NFT in itself. So it doesn't work on market forces. Whatever is set by the buyer, as per the cryptocurrency, that's what it's going to be sold in. But the cryptocurrency is what changes according to the market. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, yes. For example, the French artist that I showed you, he's transferring the NFTs to the buyers. He's selling physical prints of the work, and it goes with an NFT. So we're just transferring it, and the people who's buying it, they are putting on sale. So it ranges, for example, from 1 Ether to 50 Ethers. So once it's going to be more demanded by the market, probably that's going to stabilize on a certain value. But right now we are like leaving that to offer and demand.
I guess the obvious question.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maimon. I guess the obvious question also, Miguel, is can you set a price in dollars or in a fiat currency for
yes,
NFTs?
Yes. If you work directly on OpenSea or those open platforms, you have to choose the currency of the crypto coin. But for example, if you go through one of those marketplaces, then you can choose. I think it was Maker's Place or Super Rare. You can put the price on dollars.
So that would take the volatility of the cryptocurrencies out of the question, Maimon.
Yes. So it has to be an NFT that is not released. So actually, that's part of the game of doing the drop. That you can say, I'm going to sell it at let's say $1,000. So the data is going to be dropped. You send the $1,000, and whatever is the price on Ether, then you create the NFT, and that's it. If that later go up or down, that's going to be to the market. But with that, you can secure the price during the sale. Then for the resale or for securing value on the long term, that is hard to say. It's hard to. I don't know right now. It could be connected to one of those stable coins or something to avoid that, but probably something that many people are trying to look for at this moment.
Excellent. Yuka, did you have another question? I see your hand raised. Or
No, I didn't.
okay.
Sorry.
Does anybody else have a question for Miguel? Anybody else? Everybody's clear about what an NFT is? Any questions out there?
Me, I have a question.
Donaji, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of an NFT that is more expensive than the real piece? Meaning the digital world is more valuable than the physical one?
Yes, well, there are one of the NFTs that are very expensive, and they are not like there's no. I don't know if that's really the value of and the reward. For example, I don't know which one. Volume. Let's say, for example, the CryptoPunks is one of the first NFTs. They are expensive because they are unique. They are created algorithmically. And they
Miguel,
were one of the first.
I think the
But some
question
of them
is,
are very expensive. Yeah.
right, I think the question is if there's an artist that has a physical piece, right, and they also have the NFT, the physical piece, let's say, is $1 million, and the NFTs are selling for 2 million. If you know of any cases like that, I think that was the question, right?
No, yes, I haven't seen those. What I have seen is that, well, it's subjective as many things in art. What I have seen is that some artwork that has the physical part is like, they consider half of the physical part is the NFT value. In other places I have seen it's only like 10% of the physical object. So it's going to be range between 10 and 50.
Okay. We have a chance for one more question. If anybody has one more question, Anita.
Okay, so has there been a case where, let's say, somebody bought an original picture, the artist is still alive, it sold for a lot of money, and then the artist decides, so the person bought this painting thinking there was no other like it in the world, it's a one-off. And then the artist decides they want to do an NFT of that piece. Do they have to get permission from the owner of the actual work because in some way it actually devalues the value of what they bought thinking it was the only one in the world?
Yes, technically the artist shouldn't ask for the owner about that, but also the artist, if he wants to, or he or she wants to keep the value of the piece, the artist shouldn't be doing that. So they have to, that's why they do unique pieces or they do limited editions.
Yeah, but let's say this is before NFT. So let's say, I mean, if Rothko was still alive, or if Kenny Sharp was still alive, I went to high school with Kenny Sharp. If Kenny Sharp was still alive and he had pieces that were created and he's contemporary, you know, no one ever thought there would be an NFT market. So let's say he was still alive and he said, oh, I'd like to create an NFT of one of my pieces. But the person that bought that piece bought it thinking, I'm the only person in the world that owns this original piece of art. If Kenny wanted to create an NFT, could he, or would he have to go and negotiate something with the owner of the piece? Or could that owner say, no, I don't want you to do that?
No, I don't think so, because the artist is the artist. So probably he's going to decide on that. If the owner is like, for example, a museum, probably they could negotiate that, because it could be something like, okay, you can do that, but half of the profits are going to be for the museum. That will be like the right thing to do. But in general, the artist is going to create variations of the same topic, not necessarily to do the same thing again. This site that I mentioned, the collection, La Collection, they are doing that, but with artists that are not longer alive. But the actual profit for those are for the museum. So it's a way to capitalize or to bring more money to the foundation of the museums.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. We're out of time, but I wanted to thank especially Miguel for an amazing presentation. It was awesome, and everybody that attended. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write to Miguel. You have his contact info there, or you can write to me or to Cesar also. And please forward the questions to us, and we'll make sure that it gets to you. We're also going to get a list of whoever attended and Miguel is going to share the presentation. So thank you very much.
Okay.
And Cesar, thanks
Thank you very much.
for everything as well. Take care.
Thank you,
Okay,
Albert.
thank you very much.
Miguel.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Take care.